Be right.
Hell yeah. What's going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today, man? We are here at the B-Rye Show. It's early. It's 8 in the morning. How's everybody doing, man? It's good to be here again, man. And guys, I want you all. He's from New Mexico. He's on a tour right now. Everybody, I want you guys to meet Nikki Manos. Everybody, give a warm welcome to.
How's it going? How's it going, Brian? Good to meet you, man.
It's good to meet you too, my man. It's good
is.
for you to be here, man.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Dude, so you're on tour, huh?
I am. This is the last stop of the tour before I head back to New Mexico.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think my last show's for the year, and it's kind of fun because Amarillo. When I first started touring as Nikki Manos, this is the first place I played was Amarillo.
Oh, wow.
And then my last show of the year, which I've been touring for about a year, this Weekend Warrior thing, which I'll pick back up next year. But my last show was at 806 just last night.
Oh, heck yeah, dude! Shout out to the 806.
Shout out to 806.
I need to talk to the owner.
Oh yeah, he's great.
I just want to get him on here.
Yeah. Oh, he'd be really interesting. Josh, I believe.
Is that his name, Josh?
Josh or Justin. I always forget. I'm sorry. We talked about this last night.
Yeah. So, dude, how you been, man?
Doing great.
Yeah. Hey, what part of New? Are you the east, north side, east?
I'm on the east. I'm from Las Cruces originally, but I live in Cloudcroft, which is over by White Sands.
Okay. I have no idea. Well,
by Roswell.
Okay. So I know that's
close to Roswell. I'm on my way back right after this podcast, and I'm driving through Roswell. Then I'll make my way up the mountain.
You're pretty much near El Paso, huh?
Oh yeah, really close. Yeah.
So I've heard of White Sands before, but I don't know. Like I said, I've been through New Mexico to go to El Paso. The nice mountains out there. Are you that? Is that where you're at?
Yeah, really close. Yeah, really close. Have you been through El Paso before?
The one I want to go visit, and I wanted to take my nephew last year, but there was a fire there.
Right, Ruidoso.
I wanted to take him there.
20 minutes from there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really close.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of the area that I'm at right now.
Oh, okay, cool, man. No, so I don't go to New Mexico very much. Obviously, I'm from a small town, Fiona, and then there's Clovis, New Mexico, and that's the only New Mexico.
Yeah, I'll drive through Clovis on my way through.
Yeah. So, but the more west you go, there's mountains out there.
Oh yeah,
and it's so nice. But then the more west you go, now you're in the desert.
Yeah,
and it's pretty interesting though.
I love it, man. The music I make is kind of based off the West and the Southwest.
Oh, okay.
At least as Nikki Manos, and the desert is a huge part of it. Like making music like that vastness of the desert, the landscapes, sunsets, just like the terrain and everything and how it changes. I love it. Like, I actually did a double header yesterday before I did the 806. So I played Santa Fe in the morning and then I drove over to Amarillo and I drove into Amarillo at sunset. And it's amazing seeing like the plains. It goes mountains and mesas and desert, and then you like just go down into this beautiful like flat, but just like the sunset, man. It's like endless because the sky, out here is just endless, and I love it. It's like the stuff that inspires my music,
That's true.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I like Santa Fe.
Yeah, Santa Fe is great. Expensive, but it's good, man.
I don't know what it is about it. It's like
it's got a magic to it, man.
I know. Yeah. So me and my buddies, we went camping at Ute Lake. And so we were all like, hey, we gotta go to the store. We don't have anything to eat and anything. So we drove to Santa Fe. I don't know what it was, but I really liked that town for some reason.
Yeah, man. Yeah, New Mexico's great, especially that northern New Mexico. Being from southern New Mexico, I don't know if you've had a lot of New Mexicans on your show, but New Mexicans have beef with each other in a very small way. It's kind of funny because like everything, there's always a rivalry, right? Really? So I'm from southern New Mexico, and northern New Mexico is kind of like where all the money is. Southern New Mexico is all rural cowboys, and there's cowboys up there, but Santa Fe's all the money. And so, like, when I was growing up, everyone's like, oh, you're from Santa Fe, So it's kind of funny, man, because, I love it more now that I've grown up. And I've been there a bunch now since I've moved back to New Mexico. But, yeah, I love that magic out there. But it's kind of funny because deep down inside, I still have that Southern New Mexican where I'm always like, oh, Santa Fe with all that money and beautiful sky. And
Is Albuquerque considered south?
North. That's north. Basically, Socorro, which is that's central New Mexico, like right, splits it like right in half, and then everything below Socorro, and then everything above Socorro. At least that's the way that I do it. I don't know if that's like the official, like temperature reading of of the state. But
Ooh, okay, what's the capital again?
Santa Fe.
That's Santa Fe.
That's Santa Fe. Everyone thinks it's Albuquerque because Albuquerque is by far the biggest city.
Yeah.
But then Las Cruces is second,
Yeah.
where I'm from, and then Santa Fe's third.
Dude, what's the so there's a town between here. So it wasn't Santa Fe. There's a town between here and Albuquerque. And I'm trying to remember what it was. But it has like a big old mountain.
Ooh, there's a lot of those out there.
It was just like one big mountain in the center. Not the center, but like
Taos?
what's it called?
Taos?
No, it's on I-40.
Oh,
But I forgot what town that was.
it could be
called.
Santa Rosa.
Santa Rosa, maybe. I don't know. There's a town. Okay, so Santa Fe is
Yeah.
okay, and then that is a town. I like that town. I like that city actually.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh, what was it? I don't know what that town was.
Man, I have no idea, and I just drove through there, and I saw a bunch. But I mean, like after doing a show, I was just kind of just a zombie listening to an audiobook, just driving through into the sunset.
Oh, yeah, man, that makes that go by quick too.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah, and what was it called, man? So it wasn't. It's at I-40, like it's going to Albuquerque, and it has this big old mountain by itself, and then it's a city around it. I don't know what it's called. I'm gonna have to look it up now. Oh,
Yeah, man.
very much.
You'll have to get back to me, and I'll let you know if I've been there or not. Because I've been stopping through this whole state since I moved back to New Mexico and this area. Because I lived in LA before this. I've just been trying to see as much of it as possible because I took it for granted before I moved. When I moved away, I couldn't wait to leave.
Yeah.
And now that I've come back and I make this music about all this stuff, I'm just like, man, I want to like see the state. I want to see the surrounding states. I want to see this stuff before I move somewhere else, or I want to see it.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into this, my man.
Yeah.
So growing up, bro. So okay, let's start from what got you into music growing up as a child. What kind of inspired all that and all that?
Honestly, I don't really know exactly, but I know that it runs in my family. My mom did music when I was very little, but for her, she quit it because it was too easy. It just came too easy for her. She's like one of those people where she's like, she could play piano, and I don't think it really like challenged her enough. So she kind of like let it go, but she was always really passionate about like listening to music, taking me to concerts and stuff. I have a younger mom, so it's cool like growing up with someone like that because, like when I was a kid, she's in college. So like we're able to like go to like, cool concerts, and like she's listening to like Cypress Hill CDs and like Metallica and like things like that, So music was a big part of my life. But the really crazy thing is I'm in 5th grade, and the middle school jazz band came to my elementary school, and they played, and I'd never seen people playing like live music together, but like people close to my age, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like I want to do that. And I just kind of knew right then that that's something I really was fascinated by. And then I start playing music in middle school, and my grandpa was like, which my grandpa is kind of like my father figure, And so I had no idea. He's like, oh yeah, I play music. And I was like, what? And he's like, oh, I played music for, 30 years. Wow. And I was like, really? And he like self-taught himself, like all this stuff, right? And like opened up a whole new like avenue. And so from like that point forward, my family was real supportive of music because I think they saw that I had this kind of passion for it. Yeah. And ever since then, man, I've just like been doing it. And I've done all different kinds of stuff. I've been all over the world. I've done all kinds of different things. Wow. But music is, it's like my lifeblood. Like I like to say that I'm like a Windows 98 computer with everything else except for music. Wow. Because I am like I don't do anything else very well except for music. It's like my thing.
Yeah. So you were born and raised in California, you said?
Born and raised in New Mexico, but I moved to LA.
In LA. Okay.
Yeah, I've been back in New Mexico now for about 3 years.
Okay. Oh, 3 years. Okay.
Coming up on 3 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, 2.5 years. Yeah.
What happened to LA? What's wrong with LA?
I always tell people this. I spent the pandemic in LA. So I spent 7-8 years in LA. Okay. Before that, I lived in Berlin, Germany.
Oh, wow.
And then before that, I lived in Spain. And then I lived in Boston and Connecticut for a little while. Okay. And I was doing really well in LA before the pandemic went down. Yeah. And then I'm interviewing for like really great jobs. I actually, right before the pandemic hit, I had toured India as a DJ and a musician. I'm like doing all this really cool stuff, right? Yeah. And I'm like, man, my career is like taking off, right? And then pandemic hits, everything shuts down, lose all my money. Lose all my gigs, lose everything. Yeah. And I'm stuck with my wife, but was my then girlfriend's, and we're spending $2,500 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment with no AC, no nothing, with one parking space. and I'm not making any money. And she's like, she works in the music industry as well. And we're just like sitting there struggling. And so we did like 2 years, and my grandpa passed away actually. Thank you. But in 2020, I was like, well, I probably should need to like go out and help take care of my grandma, you know? And also like, why are we spending all this money in LA? And so when things started to open back up, because LA took forever to open back up.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, with comedy shows, music shows, all that stuff was like, it would like open, then it'd close, it'd open and close. So it was like, all right, do we like wait and rebuild everything, or do we like go somewhere else and kind of do something new? And I met my girlfriend in Spain. So we like had moved together a bunch of times, and we're like, maybe let's just do a new chapter. You know, 7 years in LA was good. We did a lot of crazy cool things, but let's do something else. Okay. And that was kind of the reason why we left.
Wow. So when you were doing like Spain and all that, was it your music or was it something else?
In Spain, I went to go and study at get a master's degree. It was a really cool master's degree because it was only 9 months, like accelerated. So it was really hard. A lot of different. I mean, it was really like 2 or 3 majors in one.
Okay. Oh, wow.
It was music technology was kind of what the degree was in.
Okay.
But I mean, it's hard to beat. Like I was at the school in Boston, and this program opened up in Spain, and it was like, well, I'll like change my degree so I can graduate quicker, and then I'll just like go out to Spain, and I can spend a year in Spain. And Spain's real cheap to live in.
Okay.
I mean, like for example, I just said, you know, like in LA, $2,500 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. Unfurnished, 1 parking space, no heat, air, you know, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
In Spain, $600 a month.
Nice.
Completely furnished. Nice. 2 bedrooms, central air. I was on the 27th floor of a place. It was unbelievable. Like that experience was like hard to beat. And then the school that I'm in was in this like futuristic sci-fi campus. So it's like, well, it's pretty easy to like figure out why I'm going out to Spain, you know? And it really was, and I got a huge scholarship. So I just went and did the thing, you know? It's like a once in a lifetime experience. Yeah. And that's where I met my girlfriend.
Oh, wow. Okay. So do you know Spanish, or you didn't have to know Spanish?
Yeah. Well, I grew up with Spanish. Spanish is like, I mean, I understand it a lot more now. But when I was growing up, when I used to be able to speak it, and understand it perfectly when I was a kid. You know, it's like, I always say it's like my first language. But now I'm at the point where I can kind of just understand most of it now, and I can speak a little bit, you know. In LA, I don't know how it is out here in Amarillo, you know, but like same in El Paso is they don't want you to speak Spanish as much, you know.
It's getting that way, yeah.
Yeah, it's more about like, you know, speak English, and but for me, like I would try to order food in Spanish in LA, and they just talk to me in English, you know.
LA. I was like, what part of LA? But it's freaking LA.
Well, I lived in Hollywood at first.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I ended up in the valley in this North Hollywood, which is just like over the mountains right there. But then I lived in Glendale, lived in Burbank, kind of more in the valley. It's cheaper out in the valley. But Hollywood is where everyone moves to first because it's like central and it's what everyone knows. It's a little ghetto in the central East Hollywood stuff, but it's kind of where everyone gets their bearings, and then they kind of move out to their different spots. And for me, a lot of the music stuff that I was doing, I'm an electronic guy as well. I do a lot of electronic music.
Okay.
Downtown LA is where all that stuff is.
Really?
Yeah. So moving out to an area called Glendale, which is just like on the other side of the mountains, it was like 15 minutes in the downtown, but you're spending, you know, like half as much on rent, and you get way more space.
Wow. That sounds crazy. And all this, you're making it through your music? You're paying everything through your music?
Yeah, definitely. I did work a couple other extra little jobs. Like I started out in LA doing like Postmates and DoorDash and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I went to LA, I was teaching electronic music.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I would teach like kids how to like understand music theory, or just like get them like turned on to music through DJing and like electronic music stuff. So like I would pay my rent that. I would have like, you know, bigger clients, like I'd even have like celebrity clients that would be like their kids, you know, they would like ask me to like, you know, teach them. So I'd do these like private lessons where I'd go to people's houses and do that. Yeah. And my first year or two in LA, I put 20,000 miles on my car just driving around LA. Yeah. So like you're just like going all over this town and just going to people's houses and kind of hustling, doing that thing. But yeah, I used to make all my money doing that. And then, but the thing with LA, another reason why I left is it was kind of hard to gig out there because when you're playing, you don't want to play the same town, you know, like every month. A lot of people do, and that's fine if you have like your local following. But with LA, it's a lot to ask people to keep coming out. And so, and if they know you're playing all the time, it's not that special. So they're not going to come out and see you. Okay. And so, and it's also just kind of hard to book those kinds of shows. Yeah. So so I mean, another reason why we left is so it gave me the opportunity to try to play a little bit more and kind of play out and just try like a whole nother way of doing this thing.
Okay. Damn, man. Yeah. And then after that, that's when you decided, hey, we're going to go to New Mexico. Hey, we're going to move. Yeah. But why New Mexico? Is it because you were born?
And my grandma was out here, and she's she's by herself. She's older. She's a younger grandma comparatively because my mom was young, you know. Yeah. But you know, she's like out here by herself, and I was like, well, one of the last things my grandpa told me is he was like, take care of her. So I'm like, I'm gonna take care of her. And even though like I'm white, but I grew up around a lot of Hispanic people, and that type of culture where you take care of your family is really important to me. So like just being able to like be there and help her has been like, you know, the most important thing to me.
Okay, man. Heck yeah, man. Well, welcome back.
Yeah, feels good.
So how long have you been touring for? How many years have you been doing it in total?
Oh, in total. Well, I've been touring. I've been a professional musician since 2014. Okay. And so, but I've been touring since I've been touring since 2006. Okay. When I was in high school.
Golly, man.
Yeah. Dang. Yeah. I've been touring.
You're living most musicians' dreams, to me, how I see it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I'm really fortunate. I've been able to tour all different kinds of stuff, like orchestral stuff, rock bands. I had a turntable crew that I used to DJ with, and we toured China. Oh, wow. I got to do that when I was out in Boston.
A turntable? What does that mean?
Like a crew. Sorry, a crew. It's like a turntable band. Okay. So it's really cool. It used to be way more popular, like in the late 90s, early 2000s. But you'd have like 4 DJs with vinyl records, like like traditional two turntables and a mixer, you know. And one person's like playing drums, like scratching drums. One person's like playing bass, where they like have a record that has like a long tone, and then they're just like taking the velocity and they're like making the pitch go from low to high. Yeah, you know, someone's scratching like samples on it or finding like trumpet sounds. And so you make a whole like song just using different record samples, like samples from records, and you play it that way. So we would do that. And that was like the thing that kind of turned me on to electronic music. And it was really fun. I mean, did all different kinds of stuff like that. But like the crowning achievement of like that little chapter of my life was we went to China. We were like invited by the government to go and play out in China and like try to bring like American Chinese relations like through this music school that I was at. Wow. And so that was like a really cool tour. I did Beijing and Shanghai, saw like the Great Wall, like did all this stuff. Oh, you know,
you saw a lot, man. Dang,
I know. Cool, I've lived a lot, and I'm really fortunate. I really never thought that like everyone dreams of these things, and it's just really cool. But what I love now, like where I'm at now, like I've been touring as Nikki Manos for a year, and even though I'm not like touring the world right now or anything like that, I love traveling the Southwest and doing music on like my own terms. Okay. So like the stuff that I'm doing now it's like my thing, and I love that. Like I'm not touring for anybody else. I'm not playing anyone else's music unless it's music that I want to play and sing myself. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's cool, man. That's super awesome, man. That's amazing, man.
Thank you.
You're like I said, you're living most people's dreams, touring the world. Just that, you know.
I just want to see stuff, you know. Like I just want to see as much as possible. Like I just think, you know, we're only here for a certain amount of time, and it's like, why not just like try to get out and do it? And I mean, everyone's situation is different. It's not like that easy. I mean, trust me. Like a lot of times when I tour now, especially now that I'm like booking my own shows and doing my own tour planning and everything. I mean, I usually break even most of the time when I play, but like the connections I make and being able to like come out here and like do something like this for my stuff, you know, like I'm not representing someone else. I love it, man. Yeah. Like, you know, even though I'm like kind of just barely scraping by with this right now, it makes me really happy just to be able to like get out and do it.
Yeah. Hey, you ever been on a podcast before?
I have my own little podcast. I own a record label.
Okay.
So cool. I have a little podcast that we do, not quite like this type of format, which is really cool. But we'll like interview our artists that we work with, and every podcast is usually different. Yeah. But yeah, we kind of do. We do that. But that's the only time I've ever been on anything like this.
Oh, okay, cool, man. That's awesome, man.
But I did work in LA on a couple podcasts. I worked on the Kill Tony podcast.
Oh yeah. And I
about that. Yeah, and I work on a couple other ones with some comedians and stuff. So that I actually worked at a studio that was specifically for podcasts. So I'd like kind of help like get that studio ready, and then like we'd get their shows and like have their stages built and everything like that.
You make California sound pretty cool, man. Now I want to go. You know what I'm saying? Because here in Texas, it's like California. They always talk about the downside, but not often do I hear the good side about it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Especially if you love comedy, that is I think that's probably the best place. Like I've been to New York, obviously, and they have an amazing comedy scene. What I love about LA is there's always something going on, like New York. But the people are a little friendlier. There's a little bit more space, more sunshine, like things like that. And LA's like a world in of itself, because like downtown is one thing, Santa Monica, the beach is like one thing, Hollywood is like a different type of thing, and then there's like Silver Lake, Echo Park, like all these neighborhoods, right? Yeah. And they have their own vibe going on with their own type of creative communities and all this stuff. So I mean, it's a massive city and it's expensive. Like when the Ukraine war started, that's around the time we moved, and so gas prices are really high. Yeah. When I left, I had a Toyota Avalon, and so it's nice car, nothing too crazy, but it got good mileage, like 28, 30 miles to the gallon for a 2007 Avalon. And dude, this thing, I spent $103 on gas filling it up.
A week?
The one time I left.
Oh wow.
The day we drove out to fill it up, because gas was $7.60 a gallon. So that was like the thing. And then like basically on average while I was there, gas was like $4 a gallon. Yeah. So it's kind of expensive town. So that's like the thing,
I've never paid that much for gas.
So it hurts your wallet.
Yeah. The most, which was, I think it was a year or two ago, the most I've ever filled up a tank was $100 even.
Yeah.
That's the most. And I have a truck. You see that?
Yeah, I've seen your truck. Yeah, man.
So that was the most I've ever paid. But like now I only pay like 45, 50.
Yeah.
That's the most.
Yeah, no, man. LA is an expensive spot, man. I mean, like it's definitely like an expensive place. But I mean, like I think Texas, because you guys have a lot of the oil fields, the gas is a little cheaper.
Yeah. It's a different. How to explain it? It's a different world up here. Because over here in the high plains, it's similar to where you're from, but then obviously you go more east, so green, south, you know what I'm saying? It's more, I guess, same green, but like here, I don't know, explain it, man. You've been around Texas, right? You've been all over.
Yeah, I've been all over.
Have you been to the south though? Like, yeah, it's called you've been in the 956. It's called the Valley.
Maybe the farthest I've been is like Alpine Terralingua. So that's like West Texas, like way Marfa, like past El Paso, like a couple hours.
Oh, okay,
south.
Okay. See, I've never been to that part. I know what you're talking about. I've never been in that part. I know it's a desert, I think.
Yeah, real deserty. I mean, it's like a completely different type of desert than even where I'm from. Yeah. I was just out there like a month ago. But yeah, no, I've never. Are you from Amarillo originally?
So I'm from. Yeah, well, I'm from the High Plains. I'm from here, man. But I have family mostly in Dallas, and I have them down in the Valley. And I don't know. So we have text line here for text line, right? Say the completely opposite. It's called the Valley because it has a bunch of different towns connected to each other. It's a border city. Gotcha. So you have El Paso, but down here, it's the Valley. It's close to it's like Edinburgh and that part. You know what I'm saying?
I think there's I don't know if you're familiar with Charlie Crockett, but I think he's from that area, and he's a country musician. Oh wow! And he lives out there, but it's over by the Rio Grande Valley, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I know that area. I've never been out that way.
Really, man.
Yeah, I would love to check that out because that's over kind of by where the water is too, right? Like you can go out that way a little bit.
So it's real green right there. It's super nice out there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you need to go out there. I know. So you were talking about like in El Paso how you were speaking Spanish down there. It's gotten that way now. Everyone speaks English now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's like I don't know. Yeah, like I said, it's like an El Paso, something like that, but very different people. But I'm just saying that's
Texas. You talk about like I was talking about LA having all these different like worlds. Texas, like I don't even know how Houston even is close in relation to Dallas, how it's even close to relation to El Paso or Amarillo. Because my first time coming out to Amarillo was like a year ago when I started touring as Nikki Manos.
Cool.
You know, like I think I went when I was a kid once to like get furniture up here or Lubbock. And then, I had like never been. And, like like where I'm at, like in Marfa, big wide open skies, big crazy desert with like Big Bend. That's like the national park out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like prehistoric Stone Age. And then you come out here and it's plains, and it's cows, and it's crazy flat, wide open skies.
Yep.
I mean, it's completely different. But then you like go out to like Houston and it's humid, and it's the South.
And they have trees out there, you know what I'm saying? We don't have a whole lot of trees. I like it out there. It's crazy out. And then obviously El Paso, all those mountains. But I think honestly, if you were to ask me like what's like your favorite, I like the mountains, so I like going to Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado's great.
North of New Mexico. I just love the mountains.
Yeah, man.
Especially whenever the sun is like going down. It's like maybe not like this, like it's maybe like at 6 p.m. Not daylight savings, like just basically, I don't know how to explain it, man, but the trees look kind of like yellowish.
Yeah, it kind of has that like magic to it. The golden hour, man.
Yes, is that what that's called?
I think so. Yeah, I think
it's so nice.
Yeah, man.
I love that, dude. I just remember driving home and I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks nice because the sun's getting ready to set. It's getting ready. The sun's hitting the trees really nice. I'm like, oh my gosh,
it's magic. I mean, honestly, moving from LA to like I live in the mountains now.
Okay.
And having that, it's like a polar opposite. But I mean, it's really great. Like I'm driving back after our show here, and like I'm really looking forward to just like being up in the mountains and having that like kind of like space. Because I didn't grow up in the mountain. I grew up in the desert too. You know, I grew up somewhere completely different than that.
And
it's been great being able to do something like that.
Yeah, so I prefer this. You know what I'm saying? I prefer this, but I do like the mountains. You know what I'm saying? I just like green, dude. I like green oceans. I like all that, dude. I like touring. I like traveling sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you like to drive or do you fly or like?
I drive. I just started flying last year. I went to Florida last year. You ever been to Florida?
I've actually never been to Florida.
You've never been to Florida, man. It is so nice. It's okay. How do I explain it? It's very humid. So it's similar to Houston, but it's humid. It's the same thing. It's so nice, bro.
Yeah. What part of Florida did you go to?
This was a town. It was near Orlando, around there.
Okay.
They have clear water, bro. I've never seen clear water.
Yeah, just like completely, like you can see down to the ground, right?
You can see the fishes, and you're just like, wow. You can see like deep down there. I've never, you know what I'm saying? I've never seen that.
That sounds awesome, man. In LA, like the water is not as clear, obviously, because it's it's the city. Yeah. You can go somewhere outside of the city and you'll see like clearer water. But I've always wanted to check out. I love water too. My wife's from Maine, up north, way up north.
The ice, the snow.
Yeah, but she's on the water. You know, like it's on the water. It's the most northern state up on the northeast.
Yes.
So like she's like she was born in this place called Kennebunk, and it's where the Bushes have their house, and it's beautiful, but it's completely different. It's like rocky beach. Like rocky and snow, like you can go out there at Christmas time. Like we went there New Year's Day to the beach, and it's like this rocky black beach with clear water and snow everywhere. It's bizarre.
I want to see that now. Maine.
Yeah, Maine.
I was given an opportunity to work out there a couple years ago, but I turned it down because I don't know. I heard, oh, it's too cold and all this stuff, and but I don't know. I just didn't go. But now that you say that, I kind of wish I.
I'll check it sometime. Yeah, check it out sometime. You might really like it, man. It's funny, man. I've had a few people get friends like of mine, that they get job offers to go to Maine. So Maine's, I guess, always hiring. I don't know.
I guess no one wants to live out there, but I guess I don't know anything about. I've only been, like I said, the only states I've ever been in is to Louisiana, Florida, here in Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, and Oklahoma, and those are the only ones I've been to.
Well, you've been to 3 of those. I haven't ever been to. I've never been to Oklahoma. I've never been to Louisiana. I've never been to Florida.
You will love Louisiana. I love it, dude.
Oh, yeah. I would love to check it. Did you go to New Orleans?
So I went to, no, it was called Lafayette is what it was called. So it was a couple hours away. But, dude, it's a new world out there, too. It's a very different world. So it's similar to the 956, the Valley. Very similar. Except it was, the people were very, very friendly.
Cool.
Very friendly. And
Southern hospitality.
Yes, exactly. Dude.
Yeah, man.
And so the food, obviously, that's where it's at. That's the Cajun stuff.
Yeah.
And then every time I'm gonna try to take my mom this year. Whenever I drove out there, you know what I'm saying, I crossed the Welcome to Louisiana. I turn on their music. I turn on the Zydeco music.
Cool,
listen
man.
to it. And all just wait till I got to my destination. I'm just
that's like the best way to do it, man, is like try the food. Like whenever you go anywhere, that's like my one advice as far as like being like a traveler goes is try to like learn the language if you're going somewhere that, like the language isn't English. Like try to learn that. But then it's eat the food and listen to the music.
Yeah.
Because like that's kind of like how you get to learn how people are, because that like affects everything about someone. Like New Mexican food, like where I'm from, is very different than Tex-Mex, you know? Hatch. I'm right by Hatch, man. I grew up between Hatch and Las Cruces. That's where I grew up.
You're quick. I drove by there and I was like, this is the Hatch. And I was like, huh, interesting. Drove through there, Hatch, everything.
Oh
like,
yeah, Hatch is everything. It's insane, man. Yeah, I mean, it's a big part of our like life.
Yeah,
and it's funny because like being a New Mexican, like Mexican food people. I have a really good friend from Houston. He lives in Nashville now, and we both love Mexican food, but are both really particular about our Mexican food. Now we like it all. Like I love Tex-Mex, but you know, like growing up, people would be like, "That's not Mexican food," and you'd be like, "It is Mexican food. It's just different," you know. But like when you're growing up, it's like, that's your culture, is what you grow up with. Hatch, you know, that type of green chili and like those types of enchiladas and that type of food, you know.
Oh yeah, dude.
For sure.
Yeah, I love Hatch. I remember one time I was in Albuquerque and I got those like red chili. I forgot what it's called. It's just the red Hatch chili.
Yeah.
Big old bag.
Oh yeah,
like,
man.
My mom, he took a picture. I was like, hey, I got you some chili. Mom, I'll be back. Drove out, gave her that big old bag. She was excited. She made some. What was it? She made some what's called mole, which is chicken and all that stuff. Oh my god!
See, that's something right there, man, is really interesting. Is in New Mexico. I mean, like, there's tons of Mexicans in New Mexico, so like we do have mole, but it's not part of our food. Mole is like, that's not New Mexican. So that's like a special thing. It's like Christmas only. Where I'm from, that's like the only time I've ever seen mole in New Mexico. Really? I had to move away from New Mexico before I even really had mole.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting, like just how those cultures like are different, even though it's all similar.
Yeah. So, and you say you never been to Oklahoma?
No, never been to Tulsa or anything like that. I have a friend that keeps telling me there's a really good bar out in Tulsa that I should play at.
I was going to say, I mean, I recommend the city. I don't necessarily recommend anywhere else.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, they have nice lakes out there. Lakes, I was told. I haven't been.
Yeah.
But yeah, I recommend the city.
So you went to Tulsa?
I went to a different town.
Okay.
And it wasn't a necessarily friendly town.
Sure. Okay.
So, but like, we
won't shout it out.
Yeah. Are you considered white or Hispanic or
I consider myself white. Yeah. I mean,
so,
I'm definitely like have some Hispanic. But.
So they'll accept you. You know what I'm saying? But they don't necessarily accept me.
It's like that.
Yeah, it was like that. The town I'm at, you know.
Yeah,
and it was a big town. It was pretty. And I was like, I thought it was it was very different. I didn't like that, but that's why I always tell people, like, if you ever go there, man, stay in the cities. I mean, I'm saying not all. Because I'm sure we have.
Oh, everyone's different, but that general vibe, man. Yeah. I mean, I lived in Germany. This is a really crazy little thing, but it's great experience. Is I knew what it was like to be an immigrant because I lived and worked in Germany without school. I was just out there working, you know. Didn't know German, didn't know any of that stuff, and I figured it all out while we were there. My wife and I, and my wife worked at the shop where. Oddly enough, there's a huge Turkish community out in Berlin where we lived.
Yeah.
They're the ones who rebuilt Berlin after World War II when it was destroyed. They like had this program from when Berlin was separated from the East and West. A bunch of people from the Turkish people moved over to the West and just started rebuilding that city. Yeah. Huge Turkish, so Muslim, Middle Eastern population. And it's a different type of culture, you know?
Yeah.
And so my wife's working at the shop, and this guy would come in and like buy stuff from the shop. But if I would came in to like bring her lunch or something, if I was sitting there, I'm not working there, right? Like I'm just sitting there.
Yeah.
He would come in and talk to me. Yeah. He would never talk to her.
Yeah.
Because she's a woman.
Oh wow.
So she would like just be completely like. So it was like crazy things. I'd bring her lunch and we'd be sitting there eating, and he would walk in and like not even make eye contact with her.
Wow.
You know. And that different type of culture, you know. And I mean, not something I agree with, but it was crazy to be around something like that and be like, oh. You know, like that's how this type of culture treats certain people. And so you're like, oh, you know? Yeah. So like, yeah, I mean, everyone's different, but yeah, I mean, you never know. But then I'd meet some Turkish people and they'd be totally cool, the more like a Western style vibe. But yeah, I mean, I definitely know what it's like to like be that type of like on the outside, like looking in. And I think it's really good. I wish more Americans would like experience that, because then you wouldn't have that happen when you go out to like Oklahoma. And someone's like, "Oh, you're not like me."
Yeah,
you're like, "We're all the same." Yeah, come on, man.
I wish. I don't know. I just recommend for me to you. If you ever go, just find a city. The cities where, because it's so diverse out there. But
I'd love to check it out. I mean, I go out to Nashville quite a bit, and I usually fly to Nashville.
Oh, yeah. What's Nashville like?
Nashville's great.
I've never been. I heard.
Oh, really?
I just know it was more like music.
Oh, it's the music capital of the world, man.
There you go.
Oh, it's a great place. Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe moving out there at some point. I have a lot of people that I went to school with and people that I work with still that are out there. I mean, it really is the hub. Like my wife and the stuff we do separately from our record label and my career and everything, a lot of that takes place in Nashville. That's where the industry is. That's where like publishing and royalties, all the record labels are moving out there. Like when we were out in LA, another reason why we kind of moved away from LA is these major labels, Warner Brothers, Sony, Universal, all those guys started closing their offices down in New York and LA and kind of centralizing everything in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
So like that industry, I mean, there are still a bit of a presence in LA, obviously, but really all the music industry is in Nashville at this point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of like the place, and you can just kind of see any type of music there. And that's really cool because everyone always thinks, oh, it's just like country out there. And there is a ton of country out there, but there is a ton of rock. I saw one of the best rock bands I've ever seen. Shout out to Texas Chainsaw Managers because they were one of the bands I played with. Okay. I always they're not from Texas, but they're like a play on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Managers.
Oh,
they were amazing.
Yeah.
Like they were so good, but they were rock bands, like full on rock. And I didn't know what to expect because they don't have a ton of music out. And they don't, they're just like these cool guys on social media. So I had like no idea what to expect. And I played this show, and it was like I played with one of my friends, and she's a more traditional like honky tonk girl, and I do like my kind of like indie Western music where I kind of have a lot of rock influence, but there's some country in there and stuff. And then these guys come in with like this incredible like straight ahead rock sound, and I was like, dang. I mean, Nashville's really got it going on, and Nashville really is a really great place for just. I mean, it's like one of the best growing cities, best economies right now in the entire country.
Yeah, is that where? Have you played there before?
Oh yeah, a few times.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Heck yeah, man. Real quick, we're gonna go to break because we're flying by.
Are we?
Yeah, and then
didn't even notice.
Yeah, I did. And then we'll okay. We're gonna take a break, and let's thank our sponsors. This video is sponsored by. Oh, hey, Nikki, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah,
Good to see you again.
I don't have no sponsor. Hey, so you toured a lot of the world, right, with your music. What kind of style of music do you perform?
I do two different kinds at this point. The Nikki Manos stuff is, I guess I would call it rock at this point. I like to call it indie Western.
Okay.
Like I grew up with my grandpa musician, but before I knew he was a musician, when I was a kid, we grew up watching Westerns. So we used to watch every night just about. We'd watch like a John Wayne Western all the way up through like the Clint Eastwood Westerns. And he loved those. Rifleman, like all those TV shows. And so it was a big part of like my influence growing up. So I started working on this project before he passed away. But then when he passed away, it kind of like expedited that process of like wanting to do it. Because before I did the Nikki Manos stuff, I was an electronic producer where I made like techno music, house music, and like dance music.
Wow.
And so I would DJ and do all that different kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like, again, I got my degree in electronic, like music technology. So I was learning like the cutting edge, like the new stuff, newest software, newest sounds, sound design, synth stuff,
Yeah.
So I was doing that for 7-8 years in LA. And then the hard thing with that, though, is you don't sing, and that music is not necessarily the most accessible to people.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to like teach myself how to sing because I didn't sing at all, and I wanted to just try to do something different where I played more instruments, because I play a bunch of instruments. So I was like, I kind of want to like do something different, but still like keep a lot of the things that I'd already worked on, a lot of the techniques and skills that I have, and just try it in like a different way. Yeah. So I do the two things right now. Like I do still produce music as Iron Fist, which is my electronic music stuff. And I own my record label as Iron Fist, really. Like that's kind of like our thing where we release all different kinds of music, but like my like main alias would be like Iron Fist. But I'm more active right now as Nikki Manos. Okay. And yeah, I call that like indie Western. It's rock. I do like indie sounding stuff mixed with country and Western. Like it's specifically Western, more Western than country. It's not really like super honky tonk. Like last night at 806, I played Ernest Tubbs, like Ernest Tubbs songs. I'll do like a Merle Haggard song or Waylon Jennings or something. But I do it like my way. I always say that I do it like my way. So I'll incorporate like electronic drums, synths, electric guitars with like distortion and stuff. And I just kind of like try to reinterpret some of this stuff. I'll even do like an old Gene Autry song, and I like try to make it like ambient, you know, and try to just do something different and weird. And you never know how it's really going to work. But like I was talking about Marfa and Alpine, like down in South Texas there.
Yes.
Like I do this one song where I do Big Iron for Marty Robbins, classic Western song. And I do a dub techno version of it where I have this dub techno song and I put the acapella over it and I play flute underneath it. And the first time I did that out in Texas, South Texas, it's a bunch of these actual cowboys, you know, the hats and the guns and the real deal, right? Like real desert grizzled men.
Yes, yeah.
And they look and they see it's Big Iron, so they get up and they start looking, you know? And I'm like, oh my God. And they got their guns and everything. Like seriously, like they're like there. And it's like real intense. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to offend someone?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And by the end I had like, and they don't even know each other. Just like these cowboys just like start huddling like around the dance floor and they're looking. Cause I mean, they've probably never heard dub techno before, obviously.
Yeah.
and then I finish and it's just like a round of applause from these guys. And I was like, oh, okay. And so that's what's really cool about the Nikki Manos stuff is I feel like it resonates a little bit more. And it's cool because I can take that like electronic stuff that I did and, I can kind of like expose it to like a new, like a group of people that would probably never hear that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so I love being able to like mix that together.
That's cool, man. So you came here and you went through here. So you followed me on Instagram and I did.
Yeah. I've been following you for about a year, man. Yeah.
And I saw that and you were coming into town. And I was like, oh, sweet. I'm going to go check them out. I had to work that day. So I was like, dang, I'm going to miss it. And I saw you come back, and I was like, "Oh, sweet! I'm gonna catch him," but I had to work again. Now you know my schedule, so I was like,
"Yeah, I do know."
I'm really looking if you do, when you do. Hopefully, you do come back. I will. Check you out, dude. I'm excited.
Yeah, Amarillo is like one of my main places. I'm trying to play all around within a 6-hour driving distance of where I'm at right now.
Oh, 6 hour. Okay.
Yeah, and so right now, I mean, this is only like 5.5, so I'm right where I need to be, and I love Amarillo for that, and I love this city. I love being able to come out and like kind of put myself in here in this town like this. Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be back hopefully 2 or 3 times, maybe even 4 next year, depending on how the booking stuff works.
Sure, you better. How does that? I was going to ask you, how does that work? Do you call? Do they call you? How does that work, really?
I've had both. In Amarillo, I reached out to 806 myself.
Okay.
And I just found them and I just really liked the vibe and they're very easy to contact.
Yeah, they're
very friendly.
Yes, I mean, they're very friendly.
Promoters, man. Promoters don't always do it full time. So usually a lot of times promoters, it's kind of like their side thing or they're like a business owner or a bartender or something. Yeah. So they've got a bunch of other stuff going on. So usually the music stuff takes like kind of a back seat. But with what I love about Amarillo and 806 is those guys write back, like they always write back like the same day. They're very good about that. Like there's times I'll write people like out in Arizona or something and I won't hear back for a month and I'll keep reaching out like I try to do it like 7 to 10 days, you know, and if I don't hear back, do a follow-up, do like 3 or 4 follow-ups and then be like, all right, maybe not, you know?
Yeah.
But Amarillo, I've never had to do that. Like I think I've never followed up with 806. They just write me and book me. Yeah, and that's really cool because I'm, you know, when the first time I reached out to them, they were the first people I reached out to when I first started doing this touring thing. Because, you know, I had my list and it was like kind of alphabetical at the time. So Amarillo. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, I'll try them. And I wrote them an email and like an hour later, they're like, yeah, sure. And I was like, really? That's it. All right, this is going to be easy. Yeah. And then it wasn't the best telltale sign of booking shows because it doesn't work like that most of the time. But but yeah, no, definitely. I love coming out to Amarillo and I love doing shows out here. And I definitely see it as being one of the places that Nikki Manos does well at.
Heck yeah, man.
For sure.
Have you been to any of the tourist spots here?
Yeah.
So you've been to Cadillac Ranch. You've been to the other Cadillac Ranch.
Yeah. Oh, I've been to the other one. I've been to the one on the west side. Yeah.
There's another one. It's a smaller one on the east side.
By Paulo Duro?
Yes. Oh, it's. I mean, if you drive this way, you'll see it.
Okay.
It's still in town, but it's a new one.
Oh, over by Big Texan?
Yes.
I've been. I've been to Big Texan. Oh, I know Big Texan.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been to a few of the touristy spots. First time I came out here, I came out a day early with my wife and my dog. So we just like toured the whole area. Nice. I usually travel with my wife and dog. So like, because I play solo a lot. I'll play with a band every once in a while, but you just keep costs down this way. And that again, with all that electronic stuff, I have all my bands, my computer, you know? Yeah. So I don't have to worry so much about, and I play a bunch of different instruments. So as long as I bring my instruments and my computer, I can basically keep it pretty self-contained.
I want to see all that. Man, I wish, it's not gonna work. I was like, well, let's do one.
We'll do one sometime. We'll do it next time.
When you come back, I'd love to have you. We'll do a live performance.
I'll help you set it up, man. We'll make it good.
Yeah, trust me.
We'll definitely make it good. It'll be really fun.
It'll be fun, and because people like those performances on here, so
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I've seen a couple, man. Yeah, no, yeah, I can't remember. There was a guy you had on, and I watched his performance that you had posted on Instagram. It was pretty great.
So Starfish is what his name was. That was the only guy. He's the only guy that I've had on here.
With the performance.
Yeah, so I had two.
Okay, it's Patrick.
Two girls and one guy so far.
Oh, maybe it was the girl. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think you did a performance with the girl, but you interviewed a. Yeah, I mean, I've been watching you for about a year now.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I post highlights because I understand there's two types of groups. There's people that like just short form content, and then there's long form content.
I'm more of a short form guy.
Yeah.
But my wife likes the long form, so like it's kind of interesting because and that's the world we live in now. So it's like even for music, short form content is king.
Yeah. So the first one I did, her name was Danny Seeger, and she performed here. And then I guess that gave her a little confidence boost because she started doing open mics.
Good.
She was doing, I don't know where, Colorado, California.
Oh, she started touring doing
Yeah,
stuff.
she was doing, And then,
cool, man.
And then she took a break. So she's back in town now. And then the other one, her name was Benny Miller. And she's one of my favorites.
That's the one I saw.
Yeah, so she did a lot of local stuff here, and she was like, I made a lot of money. Like, no,
yeah, man, you can make money doing that. That's like the cool thing is I played this brunch in Santa Fe yesterday, the one I was talking about before I came out to 806.
Yeah,
and I mean, like I played for really nobody because it was like it's a hit or miss. It's brunch, so you never know who's like going to be there or anything like that. Played for nobody, but I still made like decent money. Nice. Like, they paid me the check before I even started.
Oh wow!
So I was like, oh. All right.
Hey,
so you're just like, all right, cool, man.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like a cool thing about like music is, there is money for it if you kind of like know how to do it, and there's different types of shows, like the open mic stuff, you're playing for tips. Like 806, I usually play for tips, but like in order to supplement that, I'll do the brunch show where I can make like some more money.
Okay.
But then I played Albuquerque 2 days before, and that was actually a really cool show because it was for recovering addicts. It was at this
nice,
it was at this coffee shop where they like bring people who are like looking for a second chance or trying to like stay clean.
Yeah.
They hire them and they work all through donations. Nice. So I wasn't expecting to make any money. Like they told me I wasn't going to make any money, but at the end of the night they gave me a check.
Nice.
And I was like, are you sure? I was like, I don't really need this. And they're like, no, take it. This is like what we do now. It's okay. And I was like, all right, cool. Cause I was like, if you guys want to put it like reinvest it back into this, I love that because like Albuquerque, it's a big city. There's a lot of crime, a lot of car theft, and drugs and stuff. Like it's kind of a ghetto city in a lot of ways. Yeah, it can be rough. I mean, it's definitely like one of the rougher spots. It's a big city, big city in New Mexico, and I love the fact that there's a place like this. It's called Ancora, and shout out to Ancora because they're great, and I love the fact that they did that. But I mean, I still made money doing it, and so you never really know. It just kind of like varies on like what you're doing. But if you're smart and if you're persistent and consistent, you'll end up figuring out a way how to make some money playing.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah. So those two, they did good. I think they're on break. And then there's one more, and I don't know if you've ever met him, but his name is Remy.
Remy.
He is in a band called he's in Native Crowds here in Amarillo, Texas.
Native Crowds.
Yeah. So you never heard of them?
What kind of music is it?
It's like rock, alternate rock, indie rock kind of.
I'll look it up. I'm sure they're on
really nice.
Native Crowds.
I thought you met them for some reason. Yeah. So
maybe I have. God, I've met so many people. It's like I'm 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm still halfway through my coffee. Off the scene.
So it's good music, and Remy is the lead singer to it.
Oh, cool.
And he's my number one musician here in this town.
Cool, man.
And so I'm excited. He's my last musician. And
cool.
So I'm excited to have him on here.
He's the last musician of the year that you're gonna have on?
For me, yeah, and then the last performer on here. I'm excited to have him on here. I thought you knew him. He's people know him. The 806 loves him. So I thought you met him.
Yeah, maybe. He might have come to my very first show because the very first show I did at 806 was like surprisingly really packed. Yeah. I think I played like really packed. I mean, like I play shows and there's like a decent crowd there, but that very first Amarillo show at 806 was like, I mean, like there wasn't a place to sit and barely a place to stand.
Yeah.
Like, and there was a ton of musicians there, like the guy who owns High Fidelity right next door.
Oh, yeah.
He was there with like a whole crew of people. Like, it was really cool. I got really lucky. And I met a ton of people there. So I might have met Remy there.
I hope so. Everyone loves him.
I'll check him out though. Native Crowds.
I'll
check him out on my way back.
And I love to have them on here too. Yeah, you'll like that music, man. You'll like that music. But yeah, he's my last musician out here. Oh. So yeah, it ran out of battery.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Oh, question.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you listen to?
So my man, I listen to everything. So growing up, I listened to just rock, and I'm not talking about like rock, and more more like hard rock, heavy rock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I started listening to like the metal stuff. Now I listen to metalcore, that push music, that punching stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the adrenaline that they
What's
get.
your favorite metal band? What do you got?
As of right now, it's called Invent Animate. I think the band is name.
Oh, okay.
So it's called it's how do I explain it? It's like what do you call it? Oh my gosh, it's like ambient metal. It's like that.
Cool.
So it's like ambient. It's still the screamo, but it's like it takes you into like a different world. You know what I'm
Is it similar to like Sleep Token at all? Because Sleep Token has some of that ambient stuff in there too.
Yeah, not as much as Sleep Token. I love Sleep Token, by the way.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, no. But then I like everything. Country.
Yeah.
I like country. I like rap, hip hop. I like it all. I listen to all of it except for like there's Spanish music that I don't like.
Yeah.
But like it comes from Mexico. I think it's called banda. It's like,
banda.
like
yeah.
a marching band. I don't know anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's the only thing.
That stuff is like the most bombastic music. Wow. Yeah, it's like super loud. Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's the only type of music I don't like. But everything else, I'm all for it. I like everything. Maybe I'll go cruise with you and you put on whatever, and I'm just gonna bump to it. You know what I mean? I like it all, dude.
I love that though. That's like what I always would tell people, like my students, because like teaching music I taught all different types of students, you know.
Yeah.
And these guys, they like would be like, well, do you like the? Or someone would ask me like, how could you listen to like what your 10-year-old students are listening to? And I'm like, well, what's cool about music is when it never makes it boring to me is it's always different. And what people listen to and people like their tastes are always different. And I find that so interesting because music like can never be boring because people are always trying new things or listening to new things. And I love that about it. Like, it's like the coolest thing, man. I'm the same way. Like you have to try really hard for me to like find something I don't like, you know?
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. Yeah, dude, I'm actually really glad you're here, dog. I really am.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man.
It's been great being on here.
So now I have a question. So what's next for you, man? What this year? We're in November. We're gonna close December. You're not. This is your last show right here.
Yeah, unless something weird happens, then I'm definitely probably done for the rest of the year, and I'm gonna spend probably December and January writing to finish a couple music. I have probably 6 songs that I've got to finish. Here, so that'll be like my final thing that I've got to do is just finish writing, and then I'll pick up touring in February, March. And start trying to play out a little bit more and figure out that next chapter after that.
Okay. Heck yeah, man. And then shoot. So we're gonna go ahead and close.
Yeah.
I think they're tired too.
The lights are tired.
The lights are tired. Yeah, these are. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I just didn't charge them.
I like them.
Yeah,
they're cool, man.
Yeah, but yeah, man. So now here's what I want to ask you. So where can we find you on social media? You know, look at this camera.
Yeah. You can find me at Mr. Nikki Manos, MrNikkIManos, or you can check out Rabotat Records, Rabotat Records. And you can check out all the music that we release on there, a bunch of the Nikki Manos stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
But you can also check out, we do music from artists all over the world, all different types of music. And you can definitely check out Rabotat. That's been like my wife's and I's baby for years and years now. I think we're going on 7 years doing the label. And if you have any music that, you guys want to submit, if anyone's watching this and they, even just want to talk about music, please let us know. We'd love to talk to you about it.
Okay, man. Hey guys, so make sure to follow him everywhere. Links will be in the description down below. Give this guy a like, comment on his stuff. Listen to his stuff, man. It's actually pretty good, man. And then if he's in town or if you want to find his tour, follow his Instagram and whatever.
Oh yeah,
you have.
I'll be back, Amarillo. Come on out.
He's gonna come back. I'd love to have you back, man. This time we'll do a performance. And
we'll sit down and do a thing. That'd be great. I'd love that.
I'd love to see your show live. But yeah, man, and I do appreciate you coming on here.
I appreciate you having me. I'm really happy we were able to make this work
before
I head back because it was 8:00 in the morning, day after a show. After I did 2 shows and drove several hours, so I'm happy that I got to be able to do it, and I'm happy that you were willing to be able to come up this early. Yeah,
man, I appreciate it, man. All right, guys, we'll see you guys next time. Nikki Manos, everybody. We love this guy. We'll see you again, okay?
Yeah, man, for sure.
Right, man.